Today's video is brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. We'll talk about them a little bit later in the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to the VSO Gun Channel. Thank you for tuning in today. And today I need your help, and you need my help as well. I have received information from a confidential source within the Trump administration that Pam Bondi and some members of the Department of Justice are pressuring Trump to appoint an ATF director that has a heavy law enforcement background. Now, what I will simply say is that what I need from you is I need you to blow up them comments down there. Because I think I speak for all of us when I say that we don't need any more cops at the ATF. We just got rid of a cop at the ATF. The one that's sitting there right now is a cop. The problem with the ATF is that there are cops in it. The ATF was supposed to be a tax collection agency. That was the whole premise of it. And since it has been militarized, it has tried to exert its proficiency in that area, and that has resulted in things like, the burning of a compound with 76 men, women, and children in it that were American citizens. The murder of Brian Malinowski in front of his wife at 6 o'clock in the morning, which, to be fair, the standards must be dropping over there because, that's a chip shot compared to what they did at Ruby Ridge. I can confidently say that I speak for a high 90s percentage of gun people, gun community, gun industry, however you want to label it, when I say that we are sick and tired of this kind of thing. The other thing that we are sick and tired of is the bureaucratic abuses through executive fiat, just changing rules because you can't get it done through a legislative process. Things like the frame and receivers rule, the pistol brace rule, the engaged in the business rule, the bump stock rule. We gun folks have been abused by our government through this executive agency at the behest of political activists for decades. And we voted for a change to that status quo. Putting a law enforcement specialist at the top of this agency is not the change agent that we voted for. We expect the President of the United States to appoint an actual firearms specialist to that role. We have had political hacks. We have had law enforcement officers. We have had gun control activists in that position. And we have never had an actual technical expert in the firearms space at the top of that agency. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, which is the massive quantity of its activities, has never had somebody who actually understands firearms at the top of it. That should change because we want somebody to go in there who has been touched by the agency and the government in the bad place and knows how to fix it. You have before you two candidates, Brandon Herrera and Blake Masters. Both of those are fine candidates. I happen to be a Brandon Herrera fan, but I could be totally convinced that Blake Masters is good for that role because I believe that both of them understand the Second Amendment. They understand the gun community. They understand being a gun owner and what this agency has done throughout its tenure. And they know how to fix it. So, Mr. President and Ms. Attorney General, please, I beseech you, we in the gun community are tired of this crap. We would like to take our foot off of the accelerator for a little while. That is what you promised us in your first campaign, and you didn't really do it. And in your third campaign, you promised us that again. And we elected you to this office to do that thing. We have been fighting for decades. We are used to it. We would like to have a little bit of peace for a little while and take back some of that ground. But if you will not give us that, then we will fight you too. We will mire you just like your predecessors if we have to, but we would prefer not to. And this is a step in the right direction to ensure a healing of this rift between the people who exercise their God-given, inalienable, constitutional right and those within the deep state that continue to try to infringe on those rights. Attorney General Bondi, there have been many questions raised about your fitness for the role of Attorney General from our community because of some of the things that you have said and done in the past as it pertains to firearms regulation. I'm telling you that this direction that you are going in will only reinforce those concerns. There is a way to very easily alleviate those concerns by putting somebody in the position at ATF director that understands the gun community and understands what needs to be fixed there, not a law enforcement person, which will be seen by us as somebody who is there to continue to grind under the thumb. We elect the President of the United States from a vast pool of people. That background is considered, but just because he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces does not mean that he must have a military background. In fact, it is encouraged that that individual who runs our military have sympathies within the general civilian population, not necessarily the military population. That is by design. And I would say that just because we are appointing to something that has morphed into a law enforcement agency outside of its mandate does not mean that a law enforcement person must head that agency. In fact, I would argue a member of the constituency that is most impacted by that activity of that agency should be at the head of it. Now, to all of you watching, I need your assistance. I just need you to do a couple things. The first thing is, if I spoke in a way that resonates with you, I want you to go down in the comments below and tell the people who are here looking at those comments that you agree with what I said and what parts of what I said. The second thing that I need you to do is send this message out to all of the personalities that you know and trust that put messages out like this one. And then the third thing I need you to do is share this video on X and make sure that as many people see it as possible, in a hope that the people who actually need to see it will see it and can respond accordingly. That said, this video was brought to you by Medical Gear Outfitters. They are my go-to stop for all things medical. It doesn't matter whether you need something that just holds a bunch of Band-Aids and maybe some aspirin or something like that, or if you need an actual trauma kit. If you don't have a trauma kit in your house or in your vehicle, then I highly suggest that you go check our people out at Medical Gear Outfitters, and they offer all of you a discount. You can find all of that information over at the affiliates page and all the relevant places, and use that to great effect. Thank you for tuning into the VSO Gun Channel, and hopefully we'll see you on another video here pretty soon. Look, it doesn't actually matter to me which one gets the position, or if you don't like either of those guys, as long as they are a pro-gun person that understands the things that I've laid out in this video. I will even take a pay cut if you don't like either of those guys, all right? We just need somebody that is a reform agent that can go in there and fix the things that are broken. God, please don't put me there.